For our interface project, we were tasked with creating a security system interface for a prison. In the process of designing this task, we followed multiple phases of design, including packed elements, user stories, scenario corpuses, conceptual scenarios, use cases, and conceptual design. Phase 1 comprised brainstorming and packed elements. In this stage, we thought of template people whom would interact with the system, what their background was, a context environment, and what technology they might have access to. A couple of example users would involve security guards, inmates, medical staff, the prison warden himself, teachers, maintenance staff, essentially everybody involved in the day-to-day process of the prison. Phase 2 went through potential problems that the above template users might experience, a conceptual scenario to simulate how they might be interacting with the system, and a reference story about what the current interface design lacks for their needs. Phase 3 followed up on Phase 2 and addressed the conceptual scenarios with a more concrete approach. This would involve being more specific to exactly what the user would experience with the new system. This concrete refinement of the previous phase allows us to further our design. Phase 4 involved the process of combining all of the brainstorming from the previous phases. In this design phase, we developed an interface prototype to be used by the prison staff, obviously excluding the inmates. We related some design metaphors to demonstrate our interface in a more user-friendly method. We developed storyboards to visually demonstrate to a user how they would navigate the interface, and an interface template for our developers to follow along, complemented by any relevant animations that suited the use cases. To demonstrate the prototype, we have selected the example of a prison doctor and teacher. The doctor will be presented with a login panel. He can either use his NFC swipe card to log into the system or select his username and password. Once logged in, a teacher or doctor will have access to a specific set of options available to only his account. He'll be able to check medical supplies, contact a hospital, update records and patients, and so forth. Finally, a quick demonstration of the accessibility panel, which every user will have access to. In this panel, they'll be able to enable location services, check the information about the interface, or change their brightness settings. All prison staff will be met with the same login panel. Upon logging into that panel, they will then have a set of specific options available to only their account. For example, a teacher will have the student attendance records, timetables, updating personal details, or checking out grades. And of course, once all staff have finished their work, they will have the option to then log out of the system. Finally, we will now end on the demonstration of a metal detector and a barcode scanner. Metal detectors will be present throughout the entire prison system. Obviously, they are used to detect prohibited material on inmates. To demonstrate the functionality, an inmate would walk through the metal detector, be scanned for a certain amount of time, and then either be cleared or fail the machine. A similar process was used to develop the scanner system. A user will present their card to the system, and then based on the ID of that card and the area they are trying to access, they'll either be granted access or denied. In that event, the system will reset, tell the user they've been declined, and then prompt them to try again.
A special thank you to Ross Smith for advice and direction in the creation of the prototype, Jan Stanek for advice and direction in the creation of the design documentation and design attributes, to James Bwymeister for direction on the overall assignment, and for you, the audience, for providing constructive feedback and listening.